Good evening. Before I call this meeting to order, I want to announce that due to COVID-19, some commissioners, staff, and the public are attending remotely by Zoom, by phone or on site. All participants joining by phone should mute their phones when not speaking to avoid background noise. During this meeting, please make sure that you announce yourself by name and title every time you speak, so the public that is observing knows who is speaking. This is critical given the number of remote participants and is current guidance from the Kansas Attorney General. Due to COVID-19 requirements, the public is allowed to participate by Zoom or submit comments by email prior to the meeting, and those comments will be included in the record of this meeting. The public will also have an opportunity to provide brief comments from the lobby of the municipal office building. I'm going to call this meeting to order. Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Roll call. Bynum.
Here.
Burrough.
Here.
Commissioner Townsend did send a letter of absence. McKiernan.
Here.
Ramirez.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Kane.
Here.
Markley.
Here.
Stites.
Here.
Davis. Commissioner
Here.
Davis. Thank you.
Here.
Garner.
Here. The invocation is being given by Commissioner Harold Johnson of Faith Deliverance Church of God in Christ, and will be immediately followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us gather to pray. Creator God, what a privilege and honor it is to come before you this evening. Tonight, we welcome your presence, your wisdom, and your direction. We gather here tonight with the common goal of doing what is best and what is right for this city and county that we are blessed to call home. I also take this time to pray for the nation of Ukraine. Be with her citizens as they try with desperation to defend their borders. And here back at home, Lord, I pray for our Mayor Garner, and for every commissioner that we have ears to hear and listen to our citizens. Grant us wisdom and courage to act in the name of justice and righteousness for all Wyandotte Countyans. And finally, please bless this great diverse tapestry of citizens in Wyandotte County with all of your graces. These things we pray in your name, Christ our Lord. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank Commissioner Johnson for providing the invocation this evening. I'll ask the clerk if there are any revisions to tonight's agenda.
Mayor, there were two. A blue sheet was issued regarding two updates to the standing committee agenda. The first update reflects a revision for item number one, identifying the specific projects that will be targeted as part of the grant initiatives, while the second update tonight pertains to a fast track item that was approved earlier this week during our Public Works and Safety Standing Committee session. That includes all the changes on tonight's blue sheet, Mayor.
Thank you. Tonight, we have two distinct parts of our meeting. The planning and zoning portion will be handled first, followed by the regular commission meeting. I ask the clerk to read the statements required by state law governing the planning and zoning portion of our meeting, followed by the items on the planning and zoning consent agenda.
Good evening. We would like to welcome all present to this meeting of the Unified Government Commission. Members of the commission are Mayor CEO Tyrone Garner, Commissioner Melissa Bynum, at-large District 1, Commissioner Tom Burrough, at-large District 2, Commissioner Gayle Townsend, District 1, Commissioner Brian McKiernan, District 2, Commissioner Christian Ramirez, District 3, Commissioner Harold Johnson, District 4, Commissioner Mike Kane, District 5, Commissioner Angela Markley, District 6, Commissioner Chuck Stites, District 7, and Commissioner Andrew Davis, District 8. As each petition is called, all persons for or against will be given the opportunity to express their views. If this is the first time that a particular petition has been before the commission has three options. 1, it can approve the recommendation of the Planning Commission with 6 votes. 2, it can override the Planning Commission's recommendation, but it would take 8 votes to override. 3, it can return the matter to the Planning Commission for further consideration together with a statement specifying the reasons for the referral back to the Planning Commission. The consent agenda is the first part of the planning and zoning agenda. Items on the consent agenda have received a unanimous vote of recommendation by the Planning Commission. Unless there is a request to set aside an item from the consent agenda by the applicant, a member of the public, the Unified Government Commission, or others, then the Planning Commission's recommendation on all of the items on the consent agenda will be adopted by the Unified Government Commission at one time. I will read the list of agenda items on the consent agenda, and when I have completed the list, the mayor will ask if there are any requests to set aside items from the consent agenda. This is your time to stand up and request that an item be set aside if you do not agree with the planning commission's recommendation. If you contacted the UG clerk's office, that item will be set aside by the UG clerk on your behalf. If an item is set aside, the matter will be discussed and voted on separately. All items not set aside will be approved with the planning commission's recommendation. We appreciate the attendance of those people here this evening, and we recognize the importance of each petition. We would, however, remind you that there are a number of items on the agenda, and we would appreciate your efforts to make your remarks as concise as possible. We ask that anyone with a cell phone to please turn them off or switch them to non-audio so you will not disturb the meeting. Once the petitioners make their presentation, anyone for or against will be allowed the maximum 3 minutes to state their views. This is your time to raise your hand. When your name is called, please state your name and city for the record. The mayor and commission are required to disclose contacts with proponents or opponents on any item on the planning and zoning agenda. At this time, does any member of the commission wish to disclose any contact with proponents or opponents on any item on the agenda?
Commissioner Bynum?
I had contact with opponents of item D1 MPL 2022-001.
Mr. Kane?
Same one. I had opponents and proponents.
Commissioner McKiernan?
I've had contact with opponents of D1 MPL 2022-001.
Commissioner Burrows?
Thank you. I've had contact for both for and against MPL 2022-001.
Seeing no others, Mayor. I will now read the items on the consent agenda. Planning and zoning consent agenda, change of zone applications, COZ 2021-050, Delaware Storage 2 LLC, Fireside Financial LLC, change of zone from AG Agricultural District to CP3 Planned Commercial District for expansion of Delaware Storage at 1342 North 126th Street, recommended for approval. COZ 2022-001, Tim Cates with Remco Demolition LLC. Change of zone from CP3 Planned Commercial District to MP2 Planned General Industrial District for a contractor staging area and heavy equipment storage for Remco Demolition at 14140 State Avenue, recommended for approval. COZ 2022-002, Jason Sadler, House to House, KC LLC. Change of zone from R1, Single Family District to R2, Two Family District to bring an existing duplex into compliance at 2822 West 43rd. Recommended for approval. COZ 2022-004, Gunnar Hand, AICP Director of Planning. Change of zone from MP2 Planned General Industrial District to R1 Single Family District for the existing Bennett Lake and Park land at 9300 Leavenworth Road, recommended for approval. COZ 2022-005, Curtis Peterson with Pulsinelli PLC. Change of zone from Agricultural District to CP3 Planned Commercial District for Camping World Inventory Lot Expansion at 9400 State Avenue, recommended for approval. Special use permit applications, SP 2021-083, Aurelio and Maria Navarez. Renewal of a special use permit for live entertainment with a drinking establishment at 6550 Call Drive, recommended for approval for 5 years. SP 2021-084, Efrain Carrera, renewal of a special use permit for horses at 5124 Sloan Avenue, recommended for approval for 2 years. SP 2022-001, Luke Olnick with Sunflower Tow Service LLC, special use permit for expanded mechanic shop to maintain tow vehicles and used cars at 452 South 26, recommended for approval for 2 years. SP 2022-002, Jeff Walker, MJP Properties and Highland Park Cemetery, special use permit for grading at 3801 R State Avenue, 4100 Ann Avenue, and 4315 Ann Avenue, and 949 North 41st Street, recommended for approval for 2 years. SP 2022-005, Will Anderson with VHC Roads, special use permit for the temporary use of land for an office trailer at 8130 Call Drive, recommended for approval for 2 years. SP 2022-006, Christy Eaton and Kim Maples, renewal of a special use permit for a child care facility on the KCC campus at 7250 State Avenue, recommended for approval for 5 years. SP 2022-008, Dan Spencer with CZ USA. Renewal of a special use permit for a shooting range at 3327 North 7th Street Traffic Way, recommended for approval for 5 years. SP 2022-012, Tyler Reynolds and Justine Robles. Special use permit for a short-term rental at 527 Tenney Avenue, recommended for approval for 1 year. SP 2022-014, Curtis Peterson with Paulsonelli PC. Special use permit for indoor facility and outdoor fields for multi-sport training and tournament games, including food, beverage, and liquor sales and related parking at 9020 State Avenue. Recommended for approval. SP 2022-015, Curtis Peterson with Paulsonelli PC. Special use permit for site grading for future parking and baseball fields for home field training center at 9020 State Avenue, recommended for approval for 2 years. PR, plan review applications, PR 2022-005, Curtis Peterson with Paulsonelli PC. Preliminary and final plan review for Camping World Inventory lot expansion at 9400 State Avenue, recommended for approval. PR 2022-006, Curtis Peterson with Paulsonelli PC. Preliminary plan review for home field training center at 9020 State Avenue, recommended for approval. Master plan amendments, MPL 2022-001, Tim Cates with Remo Demolition LLC, master plan amendment from planned commercial to industrial at 4140 State Avenue, recommended for approval. MPL 2022-003, Gunnar Hand, AICP Director of Planning, master plan amendment from Business Park to open space at 9300 Leavenworth Road, recommended for approval. MPL 2022-004, Curtis Peterson with Paulsonelli PC, master plan amendment from planned mixed residential to planned commercial at 9020 State Avenue, recommended for approval. Ordinance amendment, MPL 2022-005, consideration of the update to the 47th Street Overlay District, an ordinance to remove the requirement for a separate interjurisdictional review panel comprised of the unified government, City of Westwood, and City of Roland Park, and other updates that allow each municipality to independently review their portion of this shared overlay district, recommended for approval. Miscellaneous ordinances, an ordinance rezoning property at 7331 Holiday Drive from CPO Plan non-retail business and R1 single-family districts to CP1 Plan limited business district, recommended for approval. An ordinance rezoning property at 230 South 65th Street from R1 single-family district to CP3 Plan commercial district, recommended for approval. An ordinance rezoning property at 4461 Eaton from R1 single-family district to RP3 Planned townhouse district, recommended for approval. An ordinance rezoning property at 3159 Orville Avenue from R1 single-family district to TND Traditional Neighborhood Design District, recommended for approval. An ordinance rezoning property at 1150 North 38th Street from R1 single-family district to CPO Plan non-retail business district, recommended for approval. An ordinance rezoning property at 3817 Lust Drive from R1 single-family district to AG Agricultural District, recommended for approval. An ordinance authorizing a special use permit for no more than 20 chickens at 4621 Swartz Road, recommended for approval. An ordinance authorizing a special use permit for a short-term rental at 3801 Lloyd, recommended for approval. An ordinance authorizing a special use permit for continuation of a residential facility for boys at 6261 Leavenworth Road, recommended for approval. An ordinance authorizing a special use permit for a drinking establishment with live entertainment at 401 North 6th Street, recommended for approval. An ordinance authorizing a special use permit for live entertainment at an existing drinking establishment / restaurant at 812 South 12th Street, recommended for approval. An ordinance authorizing a special use permit for Friendship Inn for family members, guests of patients at the University of Kansas Health Systems at 4403 Rainbow Boulevard, recommended for approval. An ordinance authorizing a special use permit for short-term rental at 3151 West 45th Avenue, recommended for approval. An ordinance rezoning property at 2416 and 2416A South 51st Street and 5115 and 5126 Gibbs Road from R1 Single Family C1 Limited Business and CP1 Plan Limited Business Districts to RP4 Plan Garden Apartment District, recommended for approval. An ordinance authorizing a home occupation special use permit for a personal training business at 419 Armstrong Avenue, recommended for approval. Those are the items on tonight's consent agenda, Mayor.
Thank you. Does any member of the commission, the acting county administrator, or the public wish to set aside any item on the planning and zoning consent agenda?
Commissioner Bynum?
Mayor, I think I need to modify my earlier contact statement because item A2, change of zone, 2022-001 is also about that same parcel, 14140 State Avenue. So I believe those two items, A2 and D1, actually are hand in hand. So I just wanted to modify my earlier contact statement. Thank you.
Noted. Again, does any member of the commission, the acting county administrator, or the public wish to set aside any item on the planning and zoning consent agenda?
Commissioner McKiernan.
I don't need to set anything aside, but I do need to modify my contact statement exactly the same as Commissioner Bynum.
Thank you, Commissioner. Noted.
Commissioner Kane.
I want to pull the amendment MPL 2022-001.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Bynum.
Mayor, I think we need to pull A2, change of zone 2022-001, in addition to the item D1.
You're correct, Commissioner. We have done that, and thank you. Mr. Gunnar Han.
thank you, Mr. Deckler. This is Gunnar Hand, Director of Planning and Urban Design. Staff would like to pull Master Plan Amendment 2022-005 from the consent agenda, please.
Thank you. If an item is not set aside, all items on the planning and zoning consent agenda will be voted on by one vote to follow the recommendation of the Planning Commission. I'll ask the clerk if he's received any requests from the public to set aside an item.
No request were received, Mayor.
I ask the clerk if anyone joining virtually has their hands raised to set aside an item.
No one, Mayor.
I'll now entertain a motion for approval of the planning and zoning consent agenda.
Commissioner Harold Johnson, District 4. I move to approve all remaining items as submitted.
And that will be excluding the set asides.
Commissioner Ramirez, second.
There's a motion and a second for approval, excluding the set aside. Clerk, can I get a roll call, please?
Thank you, sir. Roll call. Bynum.
Aye.
Burrough.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Stites.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Vote is 9-0. That motion carries.
That takes us to the set aside items. Clerk, can you please provide the set asides as well as their number?
Thank you, Mayor. The first planning set aside item was COZ 2021-001. It also includes D1 MPL 2022-001 as part of it.
Okay. I'll ask staff to make some opening comments or remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is Gunnar Hand, Director of Planning and Urban Design. Again, this case changes on 2022-001 is heard in conjunction with Master Plan Amendment 2022-001. This is a change of zone from CP3 to MP2, as well as a land use designation change from planned commercial to industrial. This is in the Prairie Delaware Piper Master Plan area. It's right on County Line Road, just north of State Avenue before you exit heading west into Leavenworth County. The applicant wishes to build a laydown yard with heavy equipment storage. While laydown yards are allowed in the C3 district, it's the heavy equipment storage that creates the need to request zoning to MP2, which then also triggers the master plan amendment from commercial to industrial. To address this issue, staff applied multiple conditions of approval, including a deed restriction that would require all future land uses to meet the C3 uses and not MP2 uses, essentially isolating MP2 zoning for this specific applicant and use. We also applied additional conditions of approval with the City Planning Commission as it relates to downlighting, screening, landscaping to essentially hide the use from the area. You can see from these pictures, there is a grade change from the public rights of way up to the existing barn and other facilities. An additional condition of approval was related to that barn. There's still an open building permit on that barn from a previous owner. That is one of the notices of violation noted in the staff report. At the time, staff had not received any letters of support or opposition at City Planning Commission. A member of the public did attend the City Planning Commission and speak in favor of this case. Subsequent to the recommendation for the City Planning Commission and their hearing, we did receive opposition to this case. And as such, staff does agree with the Planning Commission's recommendation for approval, but based on that opposition, staff would recommend that we send this back to the Planning Commission to discuss the change of use itself, to address the comments in opposition, some of which I believe I saw some of those folks on the call tonight, which we can hear from later. Additionally, as this is right on the borders of both Bonner Springs and Leavenworth County, staff would like to do additional outreach to those communities as it relates to this project specifically, again, based on opposition comments. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. I'll ask the applicant or representatives to present their application. If they're present, please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, excuse me. My name's Tim Cates with Rimco Demolition. We started.
I'm sorry, can you please state your name and address for the record, please?
Tim Cates, 24801 219th Street, Leavenworth, Kansas, 66048.
Thank you. You can proceed.
We started Rimco Demolition in 2011 in Wyandotte County. We've been at the same shop location where our shop is located, where we fix and repair equipment, and it's a minor storage yard. My first job was in Wyandotte County, performed multiple jobs for the city and the county, as well as doing some search and rescue efforts with Kansas City Fire Department. Our old shop is at 1015 Cheyenne. As you can see by going by there, we've outgrown it immensely. We're kind of landlocked there, so we can't add any area. We have 6 semi trucks and 13 trailers, and we can't even store them all there because we don't have enough room. We have Connex boxes there that we've got stuff stored in. The reason for wanting this zoning change is that we have 6 acres there. We have a 17,000 square foot building versus a 4,000 square foot building. And about 80% of what we have in that yard at 1015 Cheyenne can be stored indoors. We would like to possibly purchase the 1015 Cheyenne yard. We do not own it at this time, but we would like to purchase it and fix it up and either sell or lease it as well. The new shop, as I said previously, gives us ample space. It's 3/4 protected by trees, so it's not like we'll be an eyesore. And the City Planning Commission has recommended that we even put up more trees, which we totally agree with, to protect it even more. There are some old permits that I haven't dug into yet. I know there's an old shed on the parcel that I'd like to get removed, and build the lay down yard to their city spec. I have been told about some possible issues, which was an issue that I thought of when we purchased this property, and that is most of our work is in Kansas City or surrounding communities, and we're going to go east when we leave the shop in the morning. There's a project coming up that I've heard about on Parallel and K7, which I think will create some pressure for this intersection of 142nd State Avenue. And I am more than happy to not try to cross that intersection at rush hour, which is the only time our trucks, once they leave for the morning, they don't come back till the next evening or later in the afternoon. But I would suggest that instead of us trying to cross that traffic, we would go right, which would take us west into Leavenworth County, and we would turn around like Miles Trucking does at 166th to get back to going east. This is very important to us. We have grown exponentially. We have been looking for a new place for 3 years. We finally found it. We wanted to stay in Wyandotte County. This is a perfect spot for us. And we hope that you guys pass it. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing and ask the clerk if he received any direct notifications from the public who wish to express their comments in favor or of this item.
None were received, Mayor.
Okay.
Okay, I will read virtually now. Is there anyone joining us virtually who would like to speak in favor of COZ 2022-001 and MPL 2022-001? If so, please raise your hand to be acknowledged. Once acknowledged, you may state your name and address for the record. You will be given up to 3 minutes to state your comments. Seeing no one.
We would like, I would like to speak if we may.
Okay, sir. I'm coming to the lobby. We also have the same thing there. If you're joining us in the lobby, you will have 3 minutes to state your comments, and you will be given up 3 minutes for that to happen. We'll let you know when you get to the 1 minute mark. Please proceed, sir, by stating your name and residence.
My name is Henry Chamberlain. I reside at 12808 Kansas Avenue, Bonner Springs. I am a co-owner of the property adjoining this subject parcel to the east. Like the gentleman that is selling the subject property, I and the other owner are elderly. We have tried for well over a decade to sell that parcel. We couldn't use it for our intended purpose when the highway took our direct access, and we've been trying to sell it since without even any interest or an offer. And we are delighted to see some interest and activity on that in that area. One reason that there's no interest in our property is this zoning. We have a body shop that was allowed to be placed next to us on the east that parks wrecked cars outside. I don't see a problem with parking some trucks on the other side. There are steel industrial buildings on both sides of us and across the road in Bonner Springs and across 142nd on the agricultural property. But a buyer of our property wouldn't be allowed to put up a steel building because of the commercial zoning. We definitely support the rezoning of the adjacent property. We support the use. We have no qualms with it, and we really need to go ahead and move this property. And since the activity started on the corner property, we have had had the first offer ever on ours. But we are at an age when we would like to move that. I think it would be tragic if we kill this.
Have 1 minute remaining.
The gentleman has agreed to screening, additional screening. He's agreed to right turn in, right turn out traffic, at least for the duration of the parallel project. He's done, I think, about everything we could ask him to do, and I strongly urge you, please, to pass this, or if you have to send it back, but I urge approval.
Mayor, Mr. Gunnar Hand has a comment.
Proceed.
Mr. Mayor, this is Gunnar Hand, Director of Planning and Urban Design. I just wanted to make note that Mr. Bill Hutton did send an email to staff requesting that these items be removed from the consent agenda as well. Didn't get a chance to note that as the commissioners pulled it from agenda. I did want to make that noted for the record, though.
Thank
Mayor,
you.
we're seeing no further in favor.
Okay. I will close the public hearing.
We need to do opposition, Mayor.
I'm sorry. Anyone in opposition?
We received no comments in the clerk's office, but I will ask if anyone's joining virtually who is in opposition. And we're seeing none. I will also check the lobby to see if there's anybody in opposition. Seeing none, Mayor.
Okay. I will close the public hearing. Would the petitioner like to make any closing comments? Okay, do any members of the commission have any comments or questions? Commissioner Kane?
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. You know, I pulled it off because I had multiple people asking multiple questions. And I think Gunnar Hand described it best, that the other community that this abuts up to needs to know a little bit more, because that road, we own half and they own half. And there's questions that weren't asked originally that need to be asked. So I make a motion that we send it back to planning and zoning to rectify some of the issues that came up that we didn't know about before.
Thank you.
Second, Commissioner Ramirez.
Do any other members of the commission have any questions or comments?
Seeing none.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion. Clerk, could you read those numbers?
COZ 2022-001 is what we're voting on now, correct, council?
Mr. Brown, Chief Counsel, yes. And then once this vote is concluded, you will vote on the other matter.
Thank you, council.
What was the other number?
MPL 2022-001, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mayor, this vote is for the first COZ 2022-001.
Okay. Again, I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Ramirez made a motion. Was that for?
Commissioner Kane first, Commissioner Ramirez second.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Roll call. Bynum.
Aye.
Burrough.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Stites.
Abstain.
Davis.
Aye.
The vote is 8-1. That motion carries.
All right, Mayor, I'd like to make the motion, the amendment MPL 2022-001 for the same reasons.
Commissioner Ramirez, District 3, second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Bynum.
Aye.
Burrough.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Stites.
Abstain.
Davis.
Aye.
Vote is 8-1. That motion carries. Mayor, that takes us to our next set aside, which is MPL 2022-005. Consideration of the update to 47th Street overlay.
Thank you. I'll ask staff to make some opening remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is Gunnar Hand, Director of Planning and Urban Design. Staff requested this be pulled from the consent agenda because in between and after the City Planning Commission, as well as the standing committee before it was heard, we did make a small change to the ordinance itself. We added an exhibit of a map of the district. We also, in coordination with the cities of Westwood and Roland Park, they had a couple of basically typos they wanted to change. We just wanted to make sure that those changes were reflected in the record and not on the consent agenda accordingly. Staff still recommends approval.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I want to just clarify that it's not 005. I believe it is 004.
Clerk, can you clarify?
In 004?
It's actually 005, Commissioner. It's on the
Okay.
next subset E ordinance.
Gotcha.
amendment.
Just wanted to make sure. Okay, thank you.
I was going to walk over. I apologize.
All right, thank you.
You're good.
Thank you. I ask the applicant or representatives to present their application. Please state your name and address if you're available for the record.
That's also me, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Proceed.
Same thing, just made some minor changes, wanted to make sure that they were reflected on the record before they move forward. No substantive changes, again, just a map edit, addition of a map exhibit, excuse me, and a couple of typos that we fixed in coordination with the two other cities we've done this with.
Thank you. I will now open the public hearing and ask the clerk if he's received any direct notifications from the public who wish to express their comments in favor of this item.
No comments were received.
Okay. I'll also defer to the clerk for those wishing to speak in opposition.
Mayor, we are seeing none in favor that are virtual. Are we seeing in the lobby? None in the lobby as well. Now, in opposition, the same. Anyone virtually wishing to oppose? Seeing none? Anyone in the lobby wishing to oppose? Seeing none as well.
Okay. I will close the public hearing. Would you like to make any closing comments?
Commissioner Bynum.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Bynum.
Thank you, Mayor. Melissa Bynum, at-large District 1, motion to approve as presented by Gunnar Hand.
Commissioner Mike Kane moved, second, sorry.
Okay. Noted. Getting back with the petitioner, like to make any closing comments prior to proceeding?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Do any members of the commission have any questions or comments? Okay, there is a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Roll call. Bynum.
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Stites.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Vote is 9-0. That motion carries.
Thank you. That concludes the planning and zoning portion of tonight's meeting. We will now move to the regular portion of our agenda. That takes us to the regular consent agenda. Does any member of the commission or county administrator or acting county administrator wish to set aside any item on the regular consent agenda? If an item is not set aside, all items on the regular consent agenda will be voted on by one vote.
Commissioner Ramirez, District 3, move to approve all items as submitted.
Stites, District 7, second.
All right, I entertain a motion for approval. And on the regular consent agenda, there is a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Roll call. Bynum.
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Stites.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Vote is 9-0. That motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we have two items on the standing committee's agenda. Item number 1 is approval of the MARC grants. This item was fast-tracked from the Public Works and Safety Standing Committee meeting on Monday, February 28th, chaired by Commissioner Melissa Bynum. I'll ask Commissioner Bynum to make some opening remarks.
Thank you, Mayor. On Monday this week, we asked that this item be fast-tracked for a timeliness matter so that the grant applications to Mid-America Regional Council for these potential grant dollars can be submitted, obviously ahead of the deadline. We had a good discussion. Everyone had good participation, and staff had brought forward a set of recommendations for projects. And I believe that staff is available to show us the recommendations. I believe in this item, it was the top 7 projects. And I don't have those in front of me. I can get to them on the agenda probably fairly quickly, but I'm hoping staff is present to walk us through that if we so choose.
Mr. Jeff Fisher, the Public Works Director, is available.
Thank you. Good evening. I think Troy Shaw, the county engineer, is with us. If you would make him a panelist, he can show you that list as well.
This is Troy Shaw. You want me to share my screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, I will. Let me get to the list. So here was the list that staff presented that fit the criteria from the MARC application from the list of unfunded projects that the city keeps. So as Commissioner Bynum mentioned, the top 7 are what the standing committee elected for staff to submit for the MARC application.
Commissioner Bynum?
Thank
Follow
you,
up?
Mayor. I'm sorry, if I could, just to add a little bit to this conversation, you can see the top 2 items under local match show 0 because those are funded in our budget. So it's not necessarily that there's no local money. There's just no additional local money because we've already approved funding for those projects. And so if we could have these MARC grants applicable to those 2 projects, obviously that makes, more money available for other work. And I would say that the rest of the items, specifically, I would point out the 1, 2, 3, 5th item, Quindaro. Even though it has a $9.2 million local match, if we were to be awarded that grant, that would be a major reconstruction and improvement for the Quindaro Boulevard area. And that would be on par with what we've been able to do with the Leavenworth Road reconstruction, which, as you can see, is a really nice return on our dollar for the local money that we put in. So I just kind of wanted to add those couple of comments from our discussion on Monday. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Fisher?
Nothing to add.
Commissioner Mike Kane, 5th District, move for approval.
Commissioner Harold Johnson, 4th District, second.
There is a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Commissioner Burrows.
Commissioner Burrows?
Thank you, Mayor. I see, I'm looking at the sheet. Do we have a total cost of what local match is needed? What that financial total is? I'm trying to add it up in my head real quick. It looks like about 50-some million.
Yeah, this is Troy Shaw. I'll address that. Yeah, if you added it up, that's what it would be. However, that's not possible. Historically, the maximum amount we have, or MARC has to divvy out to Kansas, is roughly 33 million through this program, and that would be on their side. So obviously, all these projects can't be funded. Commissioner Bynum mentioned Quindaro project for $23 million, for example. Likely, if that was funded, it would be funded for less than that. And there's a column in the spreadsheet all the way to the right that says scalable. So this, for example, that project's scalable. The one we mentioned basically goes all the way from Fairfax up to 635. So that's a massive project. Likely, if it was funded, it would be a chunk of it funded at a time. And then the next time it came up, we'd apply for the next one, similar to what we did for Leavenworth Road.
Great. I appreciate that. Again, Commissioner Burrows, at large, District 2. The other comment I would have, who sets the priorities as to which projects move forward with the 30-some million that you just spoke of, and who will make that decision?
So the Mid-America Regional Council has committees that vote on those and review the applications and score those projects.
Great. How soon does our money need to be in their hands, or do we have to commit to those funds once we make this vote?
So this round of applications is for KDOT's federal fiscal year 25-26. So at the earliest, it would be, I believe, November or October of 24. So that would be the rough timeline for the funding.
Great. Thank you.
Commissioner Davis.
Thank you. and please forgive me because I did watch the Public Works Standing Committee meeting, but I don't know if this question was answered. Obviously, we're not going to get all of this funded. How much is in the total fund for the application? And if you all were to estimate, how much do you think we would actually get?
It's very, I don't know that I can estimate the total fund, and let me see, I'll scroll back up. So this was, so these numbers are from 21. This is what MARC had to give to the Kansas side in 21. And there's 3 different pots of money. Depending on different projects, they'll put assigned to different pots of money based on what type of project they are. But it's roughly $33 million to the whole state, to the state of Kansas area. So it'd be Wyandotte County, Johnson County, Leavenworth County, I believe, is in there. So there would be that group would get roughly 33 million of the share that is the total, or the total project cost minus the local share. I didn't have that on the spreadsheet. I should have done that.
Okay, so I'm just trying to $33 million total that will kind of be split out between all of the counties that you just named.
Yeah, and it depends. Yeah, sorry, it depends on what projects they see. Like Leavenworth Road was a big project for us. That was a few years ago in the MARC cycle. Then the last cycle that came through, we didn't get major, huge ones like that. So they kind of fluctuate back and forth. And it really, a lot of it depends on the score that you get. They'll kind of how we have our local UG CMIP score on this sheet. MARC takes the grant application and kind of scores it that way. So they'll rank them high to low. And then usually they start and give more money to the higher ones, and then they try to spread it out a little bit as it starts going down. It's kind of how they usually do it.
Okay. I want to echo what Commissioner Bynum has said on Quindaro. We are in desperate need for just more investment in that area. And so I could not agree more. And I really hope that we do get that. Last question, have they split funding before, just in the past, like, maybe they fully fund, the first project, but then they give, a few million or, whatever to others. Has that happened before?
Yeah, so they'll rank all the projects, and then they'll make a determination. Sometimes it kind of just depends on what maybe it's the top 3 projects they'll fund fully. Then after that, they're like, well, these don't score as high, so we'll give 80% to the next 3, and they'll work that way, which is why it's important to note that the ones that are scalable, so that if they look at it like, well, we can fund 80%, and from the UG side, we can say, okay, well, we can actually reduce the scope of that project by a block or 2 blocks or whatever it is, and still get a great project out of it, but not have the UG pay an extra cost outside of what would be our match. So.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank y'all so much. Thanks, man.
Commissioner Ramirez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am going to hopefully not muddy the waters here. I'm going to rely on my fellow committee members and staff, more specifically Gunner. Gunner, you had mentioned you had talked about the CMAQ and how that was something that was important, or you believed was important, but that wasn't included in our initial approval in committee, and CMAQ is a different pot. So I didn't want, or different, Melissa, you're
Commissioner, good question. So there are 3 different versions of funds that are part of this round that this will look at, and Troy probably can go into those in more detail, but originally we were told one version, and then they came out with the clarifying language. There is CMAQ funds here, as well as 2 other pots of money. Troy, do you want to talk about those?
Yeah, and I was actually going to add to that. The discussion from the standing committee meeting was that we should submit for the bike share expansion, which you see listed kind of separately on its own down there, because it is a different pot of money. That probably would be a good idea through full commission if it's desired that we add that to the submission application, because I think that was the intent from standing committee, but it probably wasn't clear when we approved to submit for the top 7. So if I'm correct on that, Commissioner Bynum, please confirm that. And I don't know how to add that to this, but that would probably be good.
I think you are correct. I know that on Monday, we did kind of at least differentiate the 3 different pots. Well, we recognized that there were 3. I'm not sure that we specified. Somebody's going to have to help me, maybe Commissioner Markley, her brain cells are younger.
Commissioner Bynum, if I may, this is Gunnar Hand, Director of Planning and Design. Perhaps to clarify this for Commissioner Ramirez, if you only move forward with the top 7, we would not apply for a CMAQ in those 7 projects.
I see. Okay.
We would leave money on the table.
Yeah, we did discuss that CMAQ project item as another potential item, because we discussed the sort of general items, the safe routes to school item, which is the bottom one on this list, the SRTS, the safe routes to school. And then we discussed that CMAQ and applying for that as well, which I'm completely fine with doing it. As we discussed, it is underutilized money for MARC, so we're more likely to get it than perhaps some of the other projects. I presume we could add that by motion if we decided.
Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, staff, for clarifying. I knew that was there, but I didn't know how to well articulate it. So thank you. So I don't remember who was the original motion.
Commissioner Kane made the first motion, seconded by Commissioner Johnson.
Okay.
I'm fine. This is Commissioner Johnson. I'm fine with the modification if Commissioner Kane is.
Absolutely.
Okay, Commissioner, were you complete?
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
Okay. Were there any more comments or questions from the commission? All right, hearing none, I believe we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Roll call. Bynum.
Aye.
Burrows. Commissioner Burrows.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Stites.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Vote is 9-0. That motion carries.
Thank you. Item number 2, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Grant Application. This item is the blue sheeted item. It was also fast-tracked from the Public Works and Safety Standing Committee meeting on Monday, February 28th, chaired by Commissioner Melissa Bynum. I ask Commissioner Bynum to make some remarks.
Mayor.
Commissioner Bynum?
Yes, thank you. I'm going to try to get back to my agenda. Yes, is this the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration grant?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, this was an easy approval. It's an educational opportunity for the unified government to work with the school district and other educational partners to set up climate action educational projects, curriculum, and, potentially in the future, even possibly a location where those things can take place. It was a very easy yes to agree to move forward with this. And I do see Jonathan Gutierrez with our Public Works Division does have his hand up and can definitely add more to this. Thank you.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. This is Jonathan Gutierrez from the Solid Waste Division. We are the office that is looking at applying for this grant. I did want to give a little bit of an update just so everybody was aware. Initially, the school district that we were looking at to implement this, if we are receive this award, was going to be USD 500. We are still in discussions with them, but they did ask, due to some of their own internal grant process procedures, that they be removed as the initial school district. But again, they will continue to be in the discussion if this grant is awarded. And in the meantime, we are reaching out and discussing with the other school districts here in Wyandotte County on those that might be the initial rollout. So I did want to just make a note of that. That was a slight change from what was presented on Monday. And if you have any other questions on this, please feel free.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Bynum, was there anything else to add?
No, I would make a motion for approval.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the commission have any comments or questions?
Commissioner Ramirez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Brett. So I completely support this grant. I just want to make us not having an initial school district, that doesn't preclude us from applying for the grant. No?
Now, this is Jonathan Gutierrez again. No, it does not, Commissioner Ramirez.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to recognize Mr. Fisher if he has a comment.
Nothing to add. I was just ready for questions.
Okay, okay. Any other
Commissioner Mike Kane,
commissioners?
Fifth District, moved second.
Okay. Any other comments? Questions? Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Is there any discussion on this matter? Seeing none, roll call.
Roll call. Bynum.
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Markley. Stites.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Vote is 9-0. That motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we have two items under the administrator's agenda. Item number 1, Resolution International Brotherhood of Elected Workers, Local Number 53. Our first item is a resolution authorizing the execution of a memorandum of understanding with the International Brotherhood of Elected Workers, Number 53. I'll ask Misty Brown, our Chief Legal Counsel, to make some remarks.
Thank you, Mayor. This is Misty Brown, Chief Counsel. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Khalil in my office as he did work on this agreement. John?
This is John Khalil, Assistant Counsel with the Legal Department of the Unified Government. This is an MOU that has been ratified by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Number 53. At this point, the term of the agreement is through the end of 2023, and we're asking for a resolution for the county administrator to enter into the agreement.
Stites, District 7, motion to approve.
Kane, District 5, second.
Ms. Brown, any further comments?
No, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Does any member of the commission have any comments or questions in regards to this matter? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion, and it has been first and seconded. I'll ask the clerk for a roll call.
Roll call. Bynum.
Aye.
Burrows.
Aye.
McKiernan.
Aye.
Ramirez.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Kane.
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Stites.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
It was 9-0. That motion carries.
Item number 2, Resolution Teamsters Local Number 955. Our last item under the administrator is a resolution authorizing execution of a memorandum of understanding with Teamsters Local Number 955. I ask our Chief Legal Counsel, Misty Brown, to make some opening remarks.
Thank you, Mayor. Misty Brown, Chief Counsel. So Mayor, this is a resolution authorizing the administrator to enter into the agreement with the Teamsters. Renee Ramirez is online and has been here to discuss. So I would turn it over to Renee at this time.
Thank you, Misty. Renee Ramirez, Director of Human Resources. Mayor and Commissioners, this is an agreement that we would like the Unified Government of Wyandotte County, Kansas City, Kansas to enter into with Teamsters Local 955. The memorandum of agreement will run from January 1, 2022 to December 31st of 2024.
Stites District 7, motion to approve.
Kane District 5, second.
Ms. Brown, any other comments?
No, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Does any member of the commission have any comments or questions? There's been a motion and a second for approval. Roll call, please.
Roll call Bynum,
Aye.
Burrows,
Aye.
McKiernan,
Aye.
Ramirez,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Kane,
Aye.
Markley.
Aye.
Stites,
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Vote is 9-0. That motion carries.
That concludes our meeting for this evening. I'd like to thank all those that attended. We are adjourned. Thank you.